In a world where beauty is a mandate and conformity reigns supreme, everything changes when the lines between superficial perfection and individuality start to blur. Uglies, based on Scott Westerfeld's popular young adult series, brings us to a future where society enforces cosmetic surgery on all its citizens to achieve a uniform standard of beauty. But beneath the flawless exteriors lies a darker truth, one that comes at a steep cost. Directed by Joseph McGinty Nichol, also known as Mick G., the mastermind behind Charlie's Angels 2000, the movie attempts to breathe new life into Westerfeld's dystopian world. But before we dive deeper, let's first get a comprehensive understanding of the world of Uglies and its central conflicts. Welcome to the world of Uglies. The story of Uglies is set in a dystopian future where humanity's greed led to the depletion of natural resources, sparking wars and chaos. In response, scientists created the white tiger orchid, a plant that provided an infinite source of energy. However, solving the energy crisis didn't mend the fractures in human society. To eliminate inequality and division, a new system was born. Every individual would undergo a mandatory operation at the age of 16 to become pretty, altering both their physical appearance and mental state. At the heart of this world is Tally Youngblood, a girl eagerly awaiting her transformation. In this society, the term ugly doesn't necessarily mean unattractive. It simply refers to anyone who hasn't had the procedure yet. Until they turn 16, teens like Tally live in a place called Uglyville, where they are constantly reminded of their imperfections, nicknamed after their physical flaws. Tally is known as Squint due to her slightly asymmetrical eyes, and her friend Ferris is called Nose because of his prominent nose. This labeling system reinforces the anticipation for the procedure, pushing young people to believe that only after surgery will they be worthy of admiration and happiness. The pretties, who live in luxury, don't need to work. Their only expectation is to indulge in a carefree, extravagant lifestyle. However, all this glamour comes with a dark side. The conflict between the rebels and the authorities. Tally and her best friend Paris had made a pact as children to always stay connected, even after they became pretties. But when Paris undergoes the procedure first, Tally notices a stark change in him. His personality is different, almost indifferent to her now that she's still an ugly. One fateful night, while trying to see Paris in New Pretty Town, Tally gets caught by the authorities, but not before meeting a rebellious girl named Shay. Shay opens Tally's eyes to a hidden world, the Smoke, a secret community of people who reject the operation and the strict societal standards it enforces. Shay tries to convince Tally to run away with her to the Smoke, but Tally, still longing to be pretty, refuses. Shay escapes alone, but soon after, Dr. Cable, the film's antagonist and enforcer of the cosmetic procedures, approaches Tally with a blackmail offer: infiltrate the Smoke and report back, or never become pretty. Tally reluctantly agrees, embarking on a journey that changes everything. When she finally reaches the Smoke, she is shocked to find a thriving, peaceful community that embraces individuality, creativity, and freedom. The more time Tally spends with the rebels, the more she realizes how much she's been manipulated. The pretties aren't just physically altered, they are brainwashed, their independent thoughts erased by lesions during the surgery. As Tally falls for David, a leader of the Smoke, and learns about the rebel community's origins, her loyalty to Dr. Cable begins to crumble. David's parents, Maddie and AZ, were once scientists working for Dr. Cable, but when they discovered the brain lesions, they fled and formed the Smoke to create a cure. However, Tally's betrayal is revealed when the tracking device she unknowingly carried leads the authorities to the Smoke. The camp is destroyed, and David's father is killed in the raid. Tally, overwhelmed with guilt, teams up with David to rescue the remaining survivors, including Shay, who has now been turned into a pretty. The climax and Tally's sacrifice. After the raid, Tally and David return to New Pretty Town, where they witness the full extent of Dr. Cable's control. Shay, once a fierce rebel, is now consumed by her appearance, a shadow of her former self. David's mother, Maddie, manages to steal the supposed cure, but Shay refuses to take it, arguing that they can't force her, just as they can't force others into the surgery. In a dramatic turn, Tally offers herself as the test subject for the cure. She volunteers to undergo the surgery and risk losing her mind, believing that she's strong enough to hold on to her identity even after becoming a pretty. As a sign of her defiance, Tally decides to keep the scar on her hand, a mark she gave herself as a child to symbolize her connection to Paris. The movie closes with a transformed Tally living in a beautiful high-rise apartment, her face now perfect, her life seemingly flawless. But as she gazes at the scar on her hand, it becomes clear that Tally's true self isn't gone. Her scar is a reminder of who she really is, and her defiance against the system that tried to control her. What's next for Tally and the world of Uglies? The ending of Uglies leaves room for much more. Tally's story isn't over. Her scar hints that she may still rebel and lead the charge against the society that enforces these cosmetic transformations. If a sequel follows the events of the book series, we'll see Tally navigate life as a pretty while attempting to retain her true self and perhaps find a way to cure others. There are still burning questions. Will Paris survive after his transformation into a superhuman enforcer? Will Tally succeed in spreading the cure, or will she be trapped in her new identity? With the original trilogy and spin-off series offering a wealth of material, there's plenty of potential for Uglies to evolve into a multi-film franchise. Final thoughts. While Uglies tackles compelling themes of beauty, conformity, and individuality, it sometimes stumbles in execution. The visuals and design can feel a bit generic, and while the performances are solid, some characters don't fully resonate. Laverne Cox's portrayal of Dr. Cable, for example, feels more like a caricature than a layered villain, which detracts from the film's attempt at deeper commentary. That said, the film still manages to bring an intriguing, dystopian world to life, setting the stage for more action-packed sequels. It asks viewers to reflect on the price of beauty, the value of free thought, and the dangers of a society obsessed with perfection. Whether you loved or were left wanting more from Uglies, it's a story that sparks conversation and makes us question the lengths we would go to for acceptance. So what did you think of Uglies? Do you think Tally will spark a revolution? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe and embrace your scars. They tell the story of who you are.